All right, finished testing some new winter trail gear here. So I'm just going to go over what I'm using head to toe and tell you a little bit about each piece. This is what I would wear if it was 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4.4 degrees Celsius or lower. All right, the brain protector is a 6D ATR2. I upgraded from the 6D ATR1. That's pretty much what I wear all year round. It is lighter and cooler, fits better, and has a nicer liner than the original model. I also have a Bell MX9 MIPS adventure helmet. It's basically a dirt helmet with a visor. You can get a pin lock shield for it. You can get dual pane. You can get an electrically heated shield for it. The vents aren't closable, but they're much smaller than a full-on dirt helmet. And this would be a great choice for someone who's does dual sport, but they're primarily on the dirt. All right, goggles. I use either a Scott Prospects or 100% Ractech. What I do with the goggles, though, pretty much all year round, is I run the Snowcross lens, which is it's a dual pane lens and has a gasket to seal between them, and then it's vented like you can see in the picture. So it's kind of like the pen lock system for face shields on street helmets, but it really helps with fogging and defogging quickly. Okay, this is a Alpinetars neck warmer. It's 20 bucks on Amazon. This thing is great. It's windproof, and it'll get wet with sweat, but it has never felt cold or clammy on me. The inside's like this nice fleece kind of thing, but it really makes a difference for like keeping the wind off your neck as far as like how warm you feel. All right, for my base layer, I use Under Armour Cold Gear with a mock turtleneck. Under Armour has Cold Gear, which is kind of like a double layer Under Armour. Then they also have this stuff called Core, which 1.0 through 4.0, which get progressively like thicker and hotter. There's also Cold Gear Infrared, which is kind of more designed for if you're going to be inactive. But I have pretty good cold tolerance, so just the straight Cold Gear has worked well for me even in really cold temperatures. An alternative to this would be if you pick up a set of like merino wool base layers. That would be pretty good too. Okay, this is the Klim Revolt Pullover. So it has a zipper down the middle, goes down to about the middle of your sternum. It is Gore-Tex windproof. It is not waterproof. It's marketed as heavier than a jersey, lighter than a jacket. And I'll say that's 100% true. It is windproof. I thought it was great. That's what I was using this last weekend out in the snow ride. I would definitely get it again. I'm going to keep using it. It's also like light enough that you could roll it up and keep it in your backpack or a saddlebag if you just needed to like pull something out, and you know, keeping yourself from being battered by the wind is a big part of staying warm. But yeah, it worked great, and it fits pretty loose. If you order like a size up, you could put it over your armor, but I just wear my armor on top. All right, speaking of armor, this is my winter armor. So this is a TekVest Crossover. I also have a TekVest Rally Max, which is a little more heavy duty as far as armor. These are made, they have a sandwich layer of HDPE and then a impact absorbing foam sandwich layers in there. It's really good armor. It's just when it's, you know, kind of above 65 degrees, it's too hot for me to wear because I get hot fast. But as soon as it gets lower than that, I switch to this armor. It also acts as an additional, you know, kind of insulating or wind blocking layer. But I'm real happy with it. But even if you don't have something like that, if you're just wearing your regular armor, like under the Revolt pullover or over top, that'll definitely help with keeping you warm. I also have this Fox Legion jacket, neck brace compatible, which I got on closeout. If it's bitterly cold, I'll wear this. I've only really used it on a trail ride like once or twice because it was that cold. But I'll wear my Under Armour base layer, then a regular jersey, and then this on top, and then my armor. It's a nice jacket. It's definitely handy to have. I just keep it in the back of the car in case it's needed. All right, and because I fall down and shit, I wear these Dainese hard elbow guards. There's also a version of these that has like a sleeve type thing. But I wear these on the outside of my jersey just so like when I fall over or something, I don't tear holes in the elbows of my shirt or whatever. But they also help to block the wind and hold in heat. For lower body base layer, I use the Under Armour Cold Gear. There is a period when it's like in the 50s where I will switch to the Cold Gear top and then continue to use the Heat Gear lowers. But pretty much below that, I'm just using Cold Gear top and bottom, long legs. All right, and then my ass and nut protector is the Dainese hard short. Pretty much any kind of crash short padding is going to help hold in heat. Also give you a little extra cushion on the ride. These look weird and kind of uncomfortable, but they are actually not. You don't like feel the tailbone piece or anything. And I have rolled around in the rocks many times in them, so they definitely work. And then I'm also wearing Pod K4 knee braces. These will hold in heat, so will any kind of knee guard. I don't worry too much about having windproof or heavy duty pants in the winter because with like kind of all the layers on my legs and the height of MX boots, they don't really get cold. Which brings us to pants. I prefer the in the boot style pants, but Eric had a good point of if you have over the boot pants wrapped around your boot, when you go through puddles, it'll help to shed the water off instead of it splashing up and dumping down in your boot. So I have a pair of these Klim Dakars over the boot pants. These are the latest version. My in the boot version of them I have are like the 2016 version. I got some things to say about these pants. I'll do a separate comparison review. Overall, they're good. They're still like the heaviest duty kind of off-road pant you can get. So I'm not upset I have them, but there's some things about the older version that I like better. But this is pretty sufficient for blocking wind, and it's not waterproof, but it will shed water and things. Now I also have some Gore-Tex pants from Klim. I have a pair of Badlands and a pair of Overland Gore-Tex pants. They're waterproof, they're windproof. I've used them on some dual sport rides and once on a trail ride that was basically just puttering around. I don't really wear them on trail use. They just sit in my closet because, taking a spill and tearing a hole in like $600 Gore-Tex pants kind of sucks, which I've done before. And they're kind of, they're heavyweight pants, physically heavy. So you get hot quick if you're doing any kind of activity. All right. People's feet usually get pretty cold. MX boots aren't waterproof or insulated. So the first layer I'm using is a Fox River Therma Wick sock liner. It's very thin, goes up to your knee, and then you put your other sock over top of it. You could also get a merino wool sock liner. I might get a pair of those too and just see how much different they are. But these work pretty good for me, but I don't get too cold. I would say if you're normal or tend to be cold, I would just go ahead and get the wool sock liner. Okay, over top of the sock liner, I tested this out last weekend, fully immersed in water. This is a Seal Skinz waterproof sock. The one I got goes up to my knees. It has an outer layer of like normal, wool blend sock material. Then there's like inner membrane and then an inner liner of wool and synthetic materials against your skin. It absolutely kept my foot dry. No leaks whatsoever. So it's, to me, a great way of turning an MX boot into a waterproof boot. It's not, I wouldn't say it's an extremely warm sock. So you definitely should have like a liner or something to go along with it. But as far as waterproof and like, keeping your feet dry, it 100% works. I would definitely buy it again. All right, and for my boots, I'm still primarily using the Forma Terrain TX Enduros. I like them a lot. They have the dual hinge. They have tons of protection, but they also have the Enduro kind of tread pattern, which is a lot nicer when you're on slippery ground or mud or whatever, trying to keep your footing. And plus they have kind of a tall and wide footbed. So if you're going to layer up socks or things, you can fit a couple layers of socks into your standard size boot that you wear. All right, for gloves, this last weekend I tested out a pair of Klim Inversion Pro gloves. These are made with Gore Windstopper. They're not waterproof, but they are definitely windproof. There's also a regular inversion with no protection and an inversion insulated, which has insulation on the top part of the glove. But these have like Poron XRD knuckles, and they absolutely work for being windproof, and they kept my hands very warm, and they have really good feel on the bike. My only negative against them is they have less protection than what I usually like to wear. Some other gloves you could check out that might appeal to you would be the Alpinetars Rage Dry Star gloves, which are wind and waterproof. And then also I would say the Alpinetars Corazol glove. Usually wind's not a severe problem on trail riding because we're in the forest and things, but it definitely helped for keeping my hands warm, having that windproof layer. All right, and finally, you can supplement your existing gloves with some glove liners. Now there's silk glove liners and things like that you can get on Amazon. Klim makes liners. They're like 1.0 through I think 3.0 or 4.0. The higher you go, the thicker they are. I have a pair of 1.0s and 2.0s. They both have the Tech fingertip to operate your phone or GPS. The 1.0s are very thin. They should fit in any of your existing gloves. The 2.0s are thicker. They're kind of like the fuzzy liner in a pair of winter gloves. You would probably have to go up one size in gloves to add the 2.0s to a pair of gloves without like stretching them out. They both work. They're definitely an extra insulating layer. The 1.0s are just kind of like Under Armour cold gear for your hands. All right, when you put it all together, you'll look like a spaceman, but you'll be warm. So some things like the Revolt pullover, that can definitely go in your backpack. A pair of glove liners, things like that, or a neck warmer. You can just have them in case you need to put them on if you get cold. Now, a general rule of thumb we kind of use is if in the parking lot getting all your crap ready, if you are neutral in temperature, you're not cold or you're not sweating, or if you're just a little bit chilled, that's pretty much about right for when you get out on the trail and start being physical, because then you won't be overheating. And when you stop for a break or something, you'll be able to cool off. But if you're hot in the parking lot and like sweating your balls off, getting your stuff ready, you're gonna be really hot on the trail. If you're really freezing in the parking lot, you'll warm up on the trail, but you still might kind of feel chilled all day. So we like to go for that neutral or just slightly chilled kind of feeling, getting everything ready. That usually works out pretty good. All right, well, I hope this helped some or gave you some ideas. I would definitely check out the Skinz waterproof socks if you like to wear MX boots all year. All right, take it easy.